Guys, all the cars that you see in these videos are for sale on my website, www.woodsandbarclay.com. Enjoy the video. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be zinc plating the engine compartment on the 1985 Cali Wagon. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, here's the original engine. You can see there's still some remnants of the zinc dichromate. It's yellow zinc dichromate that Mercedes would use. Back in the 60s, they would use cadmium plating, but that became outlawed because it's carcinogenous, the process to make it, so they started using zinc dichromate. Here are all the parts back from the plating, and this is what yellow zinc dichromate looks like when it's new. So these are all the parts, and this was, guys, it's all the exact same parts. So what I'm going to do, I'll take these off this car, send them to be plated, and then install these parts. And you know, I keep a set in rotation so I can quickly do this for everyone. So what we're going to start with first today is we're going to go ahead and start down right in this area right here. Cruise control, high pressure, low pressure power steering lines, vacuum line, and cruise control mounting bracket. That's where I like to start. So first we want to drain out our, well actually we're going to vacuum out or suck out our power steering fluid, but that way we won't make a mess when we disconnect the lines. Then the rest of it will drain from the steering box down there when I pull the lines off. And this also allows me to go ahead and do a power steering fluid and filter change, which we're going to do during this process. All right, first we're going to use a 10 millimeter and remove the power steering filter nut here. And we have a spring that comes out, and I'll show you how to get the filter out. Okay, the filter's down in here. We're just going to grab a pick, and there we go. Yeah, this one definitely needs to be changed. There's our filter right there. So let me go ahead and get this out of here. All right, I have my fluid extractor connected, and we'll just start by draining or extracting the fluid from the reservoir. That fluid actually looks really good. I can still see a red tint to it. All right, there we go. Okay, here's our low pressure line here. That is a 19 millimeter. And these are usually in there pretty tight, guys. There we go. So you got to yank on them just a little bit. For the high pressure line, I like to start it with like a swivel line wrench. Allows me to get in there just a little easier. And it gives a better grip. There we go. Something like that. And let's see if I can crack this guy loose. There we go. And then you can kind of finish it off with a regular 17 millimeter wrench. Okay, before I get that totally out of there, I'm going to go down and disconnect the fittings down here at the pump. And one is a 17 millimeter. All right, got that one. I think the other one is it's either a 19 or a 22. There we go, we got that one. I'm sorry, not the pump. This is the steering box down here. There we go. All right, there's our high pressure line. You know the high pressure line because it has your crimped fittings on the end. All right, and here is our low pressure line. Now, guys, what I didn't show before I removed these, if you notice here, this low pressure line is running between your vacuum line and your AC manifold hose. Now the high pressure line came up over the vacuum line and then back down to the steering box. So low pressure between the AC manifold and vacuum line, high pressure over the vacuum line. You want to make sure when you reinstall them they're correctly routed that way, or they're going to rub against things and you'll rub a hole in them. Okay, we have our new low pressure line with the new zinc plated parts on them. See, doesn't that look nice? And our high pressure line with the new zinc plated crimp fittings. And I'm going to go ahead and reconnect these guys. Okay, we have our high pressure and low pressure new power steering lines attached. You can see the zinc plating is beautiful. I even put zinc plated hose clamps here and down there. Now we want to go ahead and put in our new power steering filter. I like to use Hank's E26H. And you just want to hook this around here and drop her down in there. All right, there you go. That just fits right down in there like that. Now we're going to go ahead and put some fresh fluid on there, put the cap back on, and we're done servicing and zinc plating the power steering fluid. Okay, for the power steering fluid, you want to use Valvoline Dex Merc. It is, let's see here, Dexron 3. Not sure if you guys can see that there. There we go. Dexron 3. That is the correct ATF fluid. We'll go ahead and top this in. Now we'll have to bleed the bubbles out of the system. You can already hear the bubbles coming out of there now. But now we have nice, beautiful, clean, new fluid. Okay, you can see our new zinc-plated fittings here. Next, we're going to remove our main vacuum hard line. Now, first thing we want to do is remove this original zip tie. This holds the cruise control cable to this line. And these are reusable zip ties. We'll just take that off because we want to put that back on here. And to disconnect this line, it is you got to go right there under the power steering line. It is a 17 millimeter to hold it in place there. And then you can crack it loose with a 19 millimeter. There we go. That's our main vacuum line. Now we have a Allen bolt right there. Alright, now we have to get down, and you guys can probably barely see this, all the way down there. You have to get, I think it's a 19 or 17, I think it's a 19. You got to get down there and undo that fitting, which is pretty difficult. Very tricky fitting to get undone. All right. There we go. There's our main vacuum line. And you can see here, here's our replacement. Move it around here. There you go. Fresh zinc plated line. So let's get this reinstalled. All right, we have our new line down in there. And I've also re-zinc plated the bolt that actually attaches right here. So let's go ahead and get that guy in. All right, before we snug it down, we want to go ahead and finish tightening our fitting down here. All right, next thing we want to do, now that we got that line back in, is remove our main cruise control module, because we're going to replace this piece and the base with new zinc plated parts. All right, now I do need to pop off this arm right here. There we go. We'll just set that aside. And now we can lift out this module. Set that right here, because we're also going to remove our base plate, which is two 13 millimeters. Out of here. Now on the back of the base plate, there's a little clip, little white clip right here. We'll make sure we pop that off, because that's our clip that holds our diesel return line in place. There we go. Okay, right over here, we have our power cable, or our control cable. So we're going to unclip that. Then we have a couple of hose clamps we're going to undo, and then we can pull this cruise control and the cable out of the car. All right, let's go ahead and take our cruise control module, or cruise control actuator, over to the bench. Okay, you can see here we have our main mounting bracket and our zinc plated base plate and our zinc plated cover. Now, I don't re-zinc plate the 13mm mounting bolts because those go underneath the mounting bracket and no one will ever see them again. So there's really no point in re-zinc plating these guys. All right, so first what we want to do is remove our cover here. You can see, I think that's an 8mm. There's one there, one there, one there. We're going to remove that, but first we got to remove it from the mounting bracket, and that is 10mm. Now, you have a spacer right here. Let me zoom in so you can see that. Right here, you have a little spacer. It's important you put that spacer back on this side when you reassemble it. All right, take these guys off. Here's our spacer. Then we can pull our module out of here. We also have these little flat washers. So we'll set that aside. Now, let's go ahead and get our cover off of here. All right, so I've made tons of zinc plating videos and how to do this. If you just want to learn how to do it, just go look at one of my other videos on any of the cars. You'll see this process. So I'm going to go ahead and get this taken apart, get it all remounted and back on the car, and we will show you the completed product. All right, we have the cover back on and our new mounting and base here. Looks very nice. And what I'm doing now is about to put back on our new base plate. But if you look here around, this is the AC manifold. This is the original insulation, and I actually just undid the factory zip ties. I actually want to peel off this original insulation. See, it gets old and comes off of there. And I want to re-insulate that line. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, what this is this is standard pipe insulation. You can buy it at Home Depot. Let's see if I can show you guys what this is. Yeah, there you go. Let's see, 1.5 inch or 3/8 inch. That's the size pipe, but it's the perfect. It's the perfect foam insulation, pipe insulation, and that's exactly what fits on here. So let me reapply that and put our original hose clamps back on, and then get back to mounting our cruise control. All right, so I have our new insulation applied, and the pipe insulation is a little thicker than the original insulation. Here you go. Here's the original stuff. It's a little thinner. So I went ahead and replaced it with a little bit longer zip ties rather than using the original Mercedes ones, and that'll hold it on there. And we have everything routed the correct way. So that'll insulate that AC manifold like it did originally from the factory. Now I've put our base plate back on for the cruise control actuator. And now let me go ahead, mount the cruise control actuator, and we'll show you the finished product. Okay, we have everything remounted here. See our new cruise control actuator with the base plate, our vacuum line, our new hoses and fittings. Next, oh yeah, and our new insulation. So we kind of finished this area. Next, what I want to move over to is the injector hard lines. So I'm going to go ahead and crack these all loose. We use a 17mm here, and then you want to use a crow's foot down here to get these off. I'll show you what that is. Okay guys, this is a crow's foot. Basically it's a 90-degree wrench, and see, we can get in there around those injector lines very easy with a crow's foot and get those broken loose. Same goes for the ones up here. Now you can use a regular 17mm up here too to crack them loose, and the crow's foot is really for the lines down here. So let me go ahead and get those off, and we will be back in a minute. All right, we have all these loose, and I'm going to go ahead and just take these out of here. There we go. They just lift straight out, and let's get the freshly plated ones in here. Okay, here are our freshly plated ones, and you can see I've got these lines disconnected. There is a little bracket right there that will connect back up once they're installed. This just makes it a little easier to install. So let me get these placed back on the car. Okay guys, we have our freshly plated lines installed now, and everything's tightened down. Now what I want to do now is just go ahead and fire up the car and make sure I have no leaks around any of the fittings, because we just broke into the fuel system. So I might get a little hiccup or cough as these lines refill, but then it should smooth out and run well. So let's do that and check for leaks. There we go. See, it took a while to start because I had to get the pressure built back up in the fuel system. So now let's go ahead and just look for any leaks. All right, guys. We are good. Those lines are not leaking, and mission accomplished. All right, the next thing we want to do here is replace our main, here's our stop switch here, and that goes down to the injection pump, and here's our throttle linkage that goes up back to the firewall. I have these pieces zinc plated, and I do have another stop sticker because during the plating process, our stop sticker gets taken off. And then here's our freshly plated throttle linkage. So we're going to go ahead and get those installed now, and I'll show you when I'm done. All right, we have our main throttle linkage reinstalled. It goes back to the firewall. And our injector lines starting to look really nice under here. Next thing I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and replace, let's see, our linkage right here. And this is our cruise control actuator linkage. See, it moves the cruise control there. Now, we're going to get into some more complicated stuff in a minute. That is all of the linkage up here. See, got a lot of moving parts there, and I'll explain how to do all that. But let's go ahead and just start with the simple ones right over here. Okay, so we got our one piece on right here. This is for our cruise control actuator. And next thing we're going to do, actually I need to put our clip back up here. This is the AC compressor shutoff clip or switch, and then this actually plugs in right there. That's 85 only model, guys, but that shuts off your AC compressor under full throttle to get you a little extra horsepower. That's an 85 only thing. But next thing we want to do, you can see we've done all the zinc plating all the way up to the firewall. Now we're up to our main assembly. That's our base plate, and then we have several throttle linkage pieces and actuator arms right here. So we want to take this off, and I was just basically showing you guys what that looks like. We're going to undo those bolts too, so we can take off the plate, and then we're going to rebuild this with the new parts. So let's show you how to do that. Okay, after several weeks, I finally got back in some of the missing parts that I was waiting to get zinc plated. Now, what this is, it's the base plate on top of the valve cover. You can see here's our old parts, return spring, some various clips. Here's the original base plate. You can see the zinc plating is pretty much worn off, and the connecting rods for the throttle linkage. And this is our AC shutoff switch. This is still good, no need to replace that. But here are the new parts. We have our base plate. These are the clips for the radiator, fan shroud, and radiator. Here's our new plated linkages, and the throttle, all the throttle linkages and Bowden cable linkage that go on the top of here. So I'm going to go ahead and reassemble this. We'll get it back on the car, and then we'll be finished with the zinc plating. All right, so what we're going to assemble first is our main throttle bracket here. Now on the bottom of this bracket, this is the return spring. I removed the return spring from the original assembly, and guys, I've actually never had to replace one of these. I've never seen one wear out either. That's just a return spring that returns the throttle back to the no throttle or off position. First, we're just going to put some transmission fluid on there. That's what I like to grease these things up with. And we're going to slide this down on here. And we have to get a pick to pull that return spring around there. There we go. And now we can push that down on here, and the other end, there you go, the other end just connects right up here. So we have a return spring that kind of clips around the bottom here and connects up there. And that's all it does. It just allows this to return. All right, the next thing we want to do is we're going to put on this linkage here. And we're just going to lubricate some of it with transmission fluid here and here. And we'll slide that down onto there like that. Okay, now what this piece is, this is a little, that is a nylon bushing. I've actually never seen one of these wear out either. And we're just gonna put a drop of transmission fluid there and slip our bushing in place there. And there's a very small, let's see if I can show you guys this. There's a very small E-clip right there that slips right over the top. All right, there we go. There you go. That's how that operates, right like that. Now there's a couple of E-clips that we need to reinstall. One just goes right here on top of the main linkage. There we go. And we have another one that is going to attach right here. There we go. Okay, that's what we have so far. All right, next thing I want to do, I want to go ahead and attach, this is the shut-off switch for the AC compressor. Causes it to shut off under full throttle. And this is just going to go right here. I think it's a 6 or 8 millimeter that we screw that down with. And the way that works, under full throttle, you have this linkage here. See how it clicks the switch right there? And that shuts off the AC compressor, so you gain, a couple of horsepower when you're under full throttle. Okay, next thing we want to do, this is the Bowden cable lever. Now, it's very important when you install this. You see this tab right here? This lever has to be installed not on that side of the tab. It has to be on this side of the tab, and I'll show you why. All right, put a little transmission fluid for lubrication there. And we're going to slip that over, and we'll put another E-clip. But you see how I've got it oriented on this side of the tab? That's so when the throttle, here, I'll hold it still here. There you go. When you pull the throttle or press the accelerator pedal, it pulls that lever. There we go. See, that tab pulls that lever, and that attaches to the Bowden cable. Now, if you have it on the wrong side, like that right there, when you pull your throttle, it will not, there we go, it will not pull that lever, and it will not pull the Bowden cable, and your transmission will not shift correctly. That's why it's important to put it on that side. And then we'll just put our final E-clip on here. There we go. Good. We have all that in place. All right, now we can attach, we'll go ahead and attach our linkages. Our linkages attach right here, and then we'll have a final linkage. Oops, that one goes there. And then a final linkage that attaches here. Now, I've already measured the linkages and adjusted them in the vise. So they're the exact same length as the ones that came off the car. You can adjust it with these little, you undo these little lock nuts here, and you can actually spin the linkage to make it shorter or longer. So let's go ahead and get those attached. Okay, I moved the camera up a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see a little better. So we're just going to lubricate our linkages just a little bit. And we'll put that on there. Now these are easier to attach with some channel locks. Let's see if I can get this under here. There we go. Put that on there. We'll snap that guy on and just lubricate that a little bit. Here we go. Put that on there. Sometimes these are easier to install when this is not assembled on the vehicle. All right, there we go. We have our 2 linkages there installed. And then our final linkage is going to install right here. This is for the cruise control actuation. And just a little in there. There we go. Okay. Now we have our full linkage assembled. It all turns together. Now this will be held in place by the Bowden cable. Once I run it through here and connect it, it'll hold it and make it return because the Bowden cable is spring loaded. So let's go install this on the car. Okay, here we are back at the car, and I'm just going to set our base plate down right here. And here's our plate that the cruise control linkage attaches to. And let's move our AC shutoff switch cable out of the way. And we'll go ahead and get a couple of screws started here. There we go. Now this is aluminum, so you want to be careful when you're screwing these in. You don't want to over tighten them. And our cruise control switch actually just connects in right there. I'm sorry, not cruise control, the AC shutoff. Connect that there. Then I need to add a little lubrication to our linkages. And they just need to be snug, guys. You don't need to crank these down. Like I said, it's aluminum. Just snug. There we go. Right here. There we go. Snap that guy on, and we'll add a lubrication back here. There we go. And a little bit right here. All right, now let's go ahead and attach the Bowden cable. And the Bowden cable determines the RPMs that the transmission shifts at. So we're going to run this right through here. Get a protective boot through there. We'll make sure and this just clips into place. And we'll put our boot back over there. There we go. And I'm going to get a little lubrication to attach our cable right there. There we go, like that. And we'll just clip that guy right down on there. Now, it's important now that we adjust how much tension is on that cable. Let me show you how to do that. Okay, if you notice on the back, there's an adjustment screw. And we want to have a millimeter gap from where this bracket on the top connects, before it hits the stop. We want to have about 1 millimeter. So I'm going to screw that and the adjustment screw right here. There we go. It's about right where we want it. So at rest, see right there, see that millimeter gap we have? That way it's under no tension right there at rest, and that's how you want to adjust your Bowden cable. Is remove our brackets that hold in the radiator and replace them with our freshly zinc plated brackets. Let's go ahead and pop these out of here. Sometimes they're a little tight. There we go. And you want to save this rubber piece. That goes right down in there like that. And goes in between your core support and the radiator. And then we'll put in our bracket. press that down over here. There we go. And then we also want to do the ones on the fan shroud. That's these small ones. So I'll pull that one out and we'll put that bracket in place. Right like that. And let me do these two over here. All right, there we have it. Now we have our zinc plated parts here. Now I also want to go ahead and change this zinc plated piece right here. That is for the oil cooler mounting. So we're going to go ahead and pop that off and change that too. So to take this off, it's just a 10 millimeter. And that bolt just slides right out. And you can take off the old bracket. These are all zinc plated from the factory. It's just worn on this one. And let's put in our new bracket. Slip that over here. And we'll screw that back in. And there we go. That's it. All right, guys, there we go. That is our replated engine compartment. We have all the brackets for the radiator and fan shroud, oil cooler, cruise control module, the lines that go to the power steering, all the injector lines, the throttle linkage. You can see everything operates very smooth, including the shutoff switch for the AC. This is how it would have looked new from the factory. Doesn't that look beautiful? All right, guys, one final touch. We're putting on some new Bosch wipers. Already installed one on the rear window. There we go. Beautiful. All right, there we go. And we just got our new Bosch wiper on the rear. Perfect. And we can't forget the washer fluid. All right, let's go ahead and make sure our wiper fluid works. All right, perfect. All right, thanks for watching. That is it for this video. The next video is going to be the final walk around video, and this car is officially done and it is ready for sale. So stay tuned. I'll have that walk around video out soon. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.